When did you last really smell something? Not just notice a scent in passing, but actually stop and really take it in. Think about a smell from your childhood. Maybe it's your grandmother's kitchen. Maybe it's a particular cologne or perfume someone wore. Maybe it's the smell of rain on hot pavement on a summer afternoon. Got it? Now notice what just happened. You didn't just remember a smell. You remembered a moment, a feeling. A whole slice of your life came back with it, almost like a door swung open to a room you hadn't visited in years. That's not an accident. Your sense of smell is wired directly, more directly than any other sense, into the parts of your brain responsible for memory and emotion. And scientists just discovered something about that connection that is genuinely stopping people in their tracks. The cells that detect smell in your nose, they are connected to the exact same brain regions that Alzheimer's disease attacks first. And when those brain regions start changing, sometimes decades before any other symptoms, your nose is the first thing that notices. Your nose as an early warning system for one of the most feared diseases on the planet. Let's talk about what Alzheimer's actually is for a moment. Most of us have a vague, frightening picture of it, but not a clear one. Alzheimer's is not just memory loss. It is a progressive disease where specific brain cells, neurons, slowly stop functioning and eventually die. It starts in very particular regions: the hippocampus, your memory center, the entorhinal cortex, your brain's navigation hub, and the olfactory bulb, the structure that processes smell. These three regions are practically neighbors in your brain, and Alzheimer's, almost without exception, starts there. The changes that lead to the disease, the protein buildups, the inflammation, the early cell damage, don't start the day you get diagnosed. They start years earlier, sometimes a decade or two earlier. All that time, the disease is quietly progressing, and for most of that time, there are no obvious symptoms, no memory lapses, no confusion, nothing that would make you think anything was wrong, except one thing: a subtle, gradual change in the ability to detect and identify smells. It is so subtle that most people don't even notice. They just assume they're tired or congested, or that the food just wasn't as flavorful as they remembered. But the nose noticed, long before anything else did. Here's what scientists found, and why it matters so much. Your olfactory system is unique among your senses in one critical way. Every other sense you have goes through a relay station called the thalamus before reaching higher brain centers. Sound, touch, taste, vision, they all get routed through this central hub first. Smell doesn't. Smell goes directly from your nose, through the olfactory nerve, straight into the brain's limbic system, the emotional and memory center. No detour, no relay, direct access. This is why smells trigger memories so powerfully, and it is also why the olfactory system is so deeply entangled with the exact brain regions Alzheimer's attacks. Researchers studying early Alzheimer's progression found something remarkable. In the olfactory bulb, the brain structure that first processes smell signals, they could detect the characteristic protein buildups of Alzheimer's at a stage when the rest of the brain appeared completely normal. The olfactory bulb was showing the disease first, consistently in study after study. And when they went back and looked at patients who had been diagnosed years earlier, they found a pattern. Many had reported subtle changes in their sense of smell a decade before any cognitive symptoms appeared. The smell loss wasn't a side effect of Alzheimer's, it was an early signal, and that changes everything about how we might detect it. To understand why this discovery is so significant, you need to understand the biggest problem in Alzheimer's treatment right now. We don't catch it early enough. By the time someone receives a diagnosis, by the time the confusion becomes impossible to ignore, the disease has typically been progressing for 15 or 20 years. Enormous damage has already been done. Billions of neurons have already been lost. And treatments that might slow the disease, they are far more effective early. Some researchers believe they may only be effective early, before the damage reaches a critical threshold. So the window that matters most is the one we've been completely blind to, until now. Because if the olfactory system shows changes first, then smell testing becomes something extraordinary. It becomes a simple, non-invasive, inexpensive early warning system. Researchers are already developing standardized tests, scratch and sniff cards with scents like rose, leather, petrol, and cinnamon. The ability to correctly identify them correlates with olfactory bulb health in ways that are measurable and meaningful. This is not science fiction. Clinical trials are underway right now. Your nose as a diagnostic tool for a disease that has defeated medicine for decades. Now, before you start panicking about every time you couldn't smell your coffee this morning, let's be clear. Temporary smell loss is common and almost always harmless. A cold, allergies, or a sinus infection can reduce your ability to smell. COVID-19 famously caused smell loss in millions, most of whom recovered fully. What researchers are looking at is a gradual, persistent, progressive decline. The kind of change that creeps up so slowly you almost don't notice, until one day you realize that food doesn't taste quite the same, or that you walked past a bakery and barely registered it, or that the perfume you've worn for years suddenly seems fainter. These are the signals worth paying attention to. And here is something that connects back to the glymphatic system, your brain's overnight cleaning crew. This system also clears protein buildup in the olfactory bulb, which means that chronic sleep deprivation doesn't just affect your memory and synaptic strength. It may also accelerate the protein accumulation that the olfactory system is most vulnerable to. Everything connects. The brain is one system, and what you do or don't do affects all of it. So, what does this mean practically? 1. Pay attention to your sense of smell. Most of us go through life barely registering it. Start noticing. Take 30 seconds in the morning with your coffee or your breakfast. Is the smell vivid? Faint? Simply paying attention gives you a baseline, and a baseline is what makes change detectable. 2. Smell training. This sounds unusual, but the science is solid. Regularly and deliberately smelling a small set of strong, distinct scents like rose, lemon, clove, and eucalyptus, and concentrating on them has been shown to improve olfactory function and even stimulate regeneration in smell-related neurons. 3. Protect the olfactory nerve. Head injuries, even mild ones, can damage the nerve directly. Chronic exposure to certain chemicals and pollutants is also linked to decline. These are worth knowing and avoiding where you can. 4. If you notice persistent smell loss, see a doctor. Not to panic, but because it is now a clinically recognized indicator worth investigating, a data point worth having on record. 5. And you know what's coming: sleep. The glymphatic system that clears the olfactory bulb runs on deep sleep. Protecting your sleep is protecting your brain. Here's what I find most extraordinary about this. For thousands of years, humans have known that smell is somehow different, more primal, more emotional. Ancient cultures used scent in rituals and healing, instinctively understanding that it reached something deeper than the other senses. And now neuroscience is telling us why. Because smell doesn't just travel to your brain, it travels into the oldest, deepest, most fundamental parts of it. The parts that remember, the parts that feel, the parts that, it turns out, are also the parts most worth protecting. Your nose is not just for smelling. It is a window into your brain's health, a messenger, an early warning system that has been quietly doing its job for your entire life, waiting for us to learn how to listen to it. Now we're listening. So, next time you catch a scent that takes you somewhere vivid and real, take a moment. not just to enjoy it, but to appreciate what it means that you can. If this opened your eyes and your nose, hit subscribe, because next week we are going somewhere that will challenge how you think about your own mind. Scientists have discovered that your gut, the bacteria living in your digestive system right now, may be directly influencing your mood, your anxiety levels, and even your risk of depression. The gut-brain connection is one of the most surprising stories in modern neuroscience, and we are going deep on it next week. Don't miss it.